The current Romanian authorities are not friendly to Russia, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said at a conference call with reporters on Monday. Asked to comment on the presidential election in Romania, where far-right independent candidate Calin Georgescu secured the first round, Peskov said that Moscow is not closely acquainted with his views regarding relations with Russia. Most polls predicted Calin Georgescu to win less than 10% of the vote in the first round of Romania's presidential election. However, the 62-year-old obscure far-right populist shook the country's political landscape by clinching the most votes and advancing to the second round to face off against reformist Elena Lasconi of the progressive Save Romania Union party, or USR. He also beat the incumbent Prime Minister Marcel Ciolacu of the Social Democratic Party, or PSD, leaving the ruling party for the first time in Romania's 35-year post-communist history without a candidate in the runoff, set for December 8th.
Знаете, я пока не стал бы давать никаких прогнозов. Наверное, нельзя сказать, что мы так близко знакомы с мировоззрением этого кандидата в том, что касается отношений с нашей страной. Пока хорошо нам понятно действующее руководство Румынии. Это не является дружественной нам страной. Ну, а дальше мы будем, конечно же, следить за тем, как развиваются избирательные процессы и кто будет победить.
Ukraine strikes on Russian arsenals and military depots helped improve the situation with shells at the front. As a result, Russia's advantage in ammunition has diminished, according to a source in the General Staff of the Ukrainian Armed Forces. According to the source, on certain sections of the front line, the current ratio of ammunition usage 1 to 1.5 to 1.3. The destruction of Russian arsenals significantly reduced the enemy's advantage at the front. Additionally, a source in the General Staff noted that drones of various types now account for 50% of the strikes on the battlefield. At the beginning of 2024, Ukraine faced a significant shortage of shells, which was caused by the suspension of US aid due to a delay in funding in Congress. However, the situation with artillery improved over time. By June, sources reported that the gap in the number of shots between Ukraine and Russia had narrowed from 1 to 7 to 1 to 3. Russia continues to gradually lose its advantage in the use of artillery at the front. The difference in the number of shots has significantly decreased, informs a source in the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Ukrainian long-range drones struck an ammunition depot inside Russia, triggering fireballs as bombs and missiles exploded in the latest attack, targeting Moscow's key military facilities deep within its borders. Conflict analysts at the Institute for the Study of War think tank said future Ukrainian strikes on weapons facilities deep within Russia, like the attack in Toropets, would put pressure on Moscow that extends well beyond the immediate impact of any single attack. Moscow's strategy depends upon repeated and large missile and bomb attacks. For instance, past strike campaigns against Russian ammunition depots in occupied Ukrainian territory forced Russia to disperse weaponry to less vulnerable locations. This complicated Moscow's logistics at the time. Repeated strikes against ammunition depots within Russia that cause similar levels of damage to the strike in Toropets may force a similar decision point on the Russian military command to reorganize and disperse support and logistic systems within Russia to mitigate the impact of such strikes. The ISW analysts wrote.
Ukraine's security service showed the Associated Press on Sunday wreckage of the new experimental ballistic missile, which struck a factory in the central Ukrainian city of Dnipro on Thursday. The missile fragments of the missile called Orshnik, Russian for hazel tree, and which the Pentagon said is based on Russia's Rs-26 Rubesh intercontinental ballistic missile, have not been analyzed yet, security officials on site in an undisclosed location in Ukraine said. The AP and other media were able to see the fragments before they were analyzed. Charred, mangled wires and an ashy airframe the size of a large snow tire was all that remained of the weapon, which can carry either conventional or nuclear warheads. Ola, an expert with Ukraine's security service, said the fragments were found and taken away by investigators. It should be noted that this is the first time that the remains of such a missile have been discovered on the territory of Ukraine. That is, the specified object was not documented by investigators of the security service before, he said, speaking on condition that only his first name be used, in line with protocols. The specified missile is ballistic, moved along a ballistic trajectory, which was only affected by aerodynamic resistance, which resulted in damage to civilian infrastructure facilities and the infrastructure of the city of Dnipro in particular, he said. Ukraine's main intelligence directorate said it was fired from the 4th missile test range, Kapustin Yar, in Russia's Astrakhan region and flew for 15 minutes before striking Dnipro. The missile had 6 warheads, each carrying 6 submunitions. The peak speed reached was 11 Mach.